Hi, and thanks for purchasing the project. This video just want to talk a little bit about HandPoses and how they work for the post grab pickup system. So as you can see, if you click on the base pickup, there are two different HandPoses you can specify, and there is a left and right HandPose. Now the HandPoses are just literally animations with 10 frames in them. And you can create them in whatever 3D modeling tool you use. I used Blender for creating some of them, and some others I even created inside of Unreal Engine itself. You can do that pretty easily by just going to your mesh, opening the skeleton of your hand. Let's get rid of some of these exposure, and then you can add obviously a socket, and then under that socket you can, so let's add a new socket, for instance, add socket, and this is a test socket, and then we can add a new mesh under the socket. It can be any mesh. I'm gonna add this mesh here. I can reduce the size just to make it a bit smaller, and then we can move the object around so that it's in the position that we want it to be once we actually grab it. So something like that, maybe somewhere here. So once that's in that position, we can start to pose the hand. And that's pretty easy. You can just grab the bones and literally just move the bones around and get them in the right position so that they pose in the right way. Once you created the right pose, you can go here, create a set, create pose, animation, and then say current pose. And then you can choose a pose name. So grab beacon, and then we can say okay, and that creates basically new animation. As you can see here, that's still got the finger posed as it was, and this goes back to whatever it was set to previously. So that's basically the animation. It's saved in the content folder here. We should be running animation. I think it goes, yeah, there we go. It's inside of meshes. So now I can basically swap it here for the right animation if I wanted. Now that's the way of creating the pose. But then there is also another thing I wanted to point out, which is, as you can see, there is a left and right, and I've also went ahead and created a left and right hand, so with a left and right skeleton for the hand. And that's because if you're working, for instance, with the VR template, they obviously try to optimize as much as they can that code so that they don't have to write extra code since it's just a template. But as soon as you start to get into snapping to sockets, especially to the location of a socket, the rotation, if you use one mesh with one skeleton that it's mirrored on a certain axis, you will find that there are all sorts of issues with that. So as soon as you start to snap, the object doesn't snap to the right rotation, to the right position. And I had previously written a system that actually calculates all that, but it's really more pain than it is setting up a separate hand. So if you're working with the VR template, I suggest that you actually just set up a different hand with a different skeleton so that you can have dedicated sockets for each of the skeletons. If you're an artist, it's really straightforward. If you're a programmer, I think with a few Blender videos, you can get it running. It's really easy. But yeah, with the VR template setup, you won't be able to use these properly, and that's because the left hand would actually mirror the socket, and it will work. It will snap to the hand, but you will see some weird behaviors. So you will have to actually get the left hand to be a separate skeleton so that you can actually create dedicated sockets. And if you want to see how that's behaving in terms of the motion controller and the pawn itself, there is an example here so you can see what I've actually done. I just basically set it up normally in here. I think I've updated the animation blueprint. So I got a dedicated animation blueprint for the left hand, which is, it's really a replica of the right animation blueprint. So I'll just make sure to update the group state in there to update the animations. Um, and then I created a child blueprint of this, which is this blueprint here. As you can see here, there is nothing really. It just calls the parent be play and tick. But then under the hand mesh, I assigned the right left hand, mannequin hand, skeleton, and the right animation blueprint. And then once you spawn in the VR pawn, you obviously spawn the right blueprint. And that's basically it. So it's not really difficult, and I suggest you do that in your project too, so that you can use the nice feature of snapping objects to your hand in the right location and position. It's really nice. Thanks for watching, and bye.